was an excellent day for an exorcism.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
We have such sights to show you.
Who's laughing now?
I'll drive you crazy. I'll kill you all. I'm the best nightmare you've ever had. I am your worst dream come true. I'm everything you ever were afraid of.
They're here.
Bam, here indeed.
For show.
Although I slowed down. I was sharing and I didn't share in time. But I shared, so that's all that counts. Bam.
I shared on real quick on my end, so
Nice. How are you? Happy after your anniversary.
And happy Halloween. Belated Halloween.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Cool. So did you guys do anything fun?
We literally sat around the house all day. And we ordered food. We ordered frugattis.
Ooh.
And we sat on the couch and he played video games literally for probably like, I don't know how many hours. No, I just let him play video games. I was TikToking. We just beep, beep.
So the
nice.
internet really did provide a good anniversary. But I have an important question though, because you raised a lot of them right there.
Uh-oh.
Peanut is quite Italian. He's a peanut. He got the hand. Is Frugatti is good Italian then? Is that like, oh, that place, they know what they're doing?
I like it. I will say that they do put a shit ton of oil in their food, and it's not necessary, but it's good. Otherwise, they give you like bread to like these big fluffy rolls. Oh my god, they're so good. They're so good. Quality bread. You can like rip it apart and dip it in the oil.
Love it.
So good. Oh my god, I'm hungry.
I think a mixture of Italian food and Mexican food is why I'm fat, because it's just bread on bread. Like I can eat. I no joke. Around the corner from here is a place that serves pasta sandwiches. So it's just spaghetti inside of a fucking bread.
You don't live that far from me either. So what? Where's this place?
Yeah. Oh, I will. I'm gonna bring you a pasta sandwich. Oh my god.
That's oh my god. That's the funniest thing. A pasta sandwich.
Pasta sandwich. Wonderful stuff. But
oh my god.
The Italians, they're smart because they don't go out into Serbia and get murdered by forces we don't know of, like the people we're talking about today, and the Dyatlov Pass.
Dyatlov.
Dyatlov? Dyatlov.
It took me a minute to get it too. Like I had to look up some like not translator, but like the Google pronounce.
That's a good idea. I should have done that.
Yeah. It's Dyatlov.
Dyatlov.
You have to think and like pretend you're a Russian.
In Russia, word pronounces you, So I think Dyatlov, that sounds good. Thank you for that.
Yeah. You lost me on all the other names though. There's no way I'm gonna pronounce any of these names tonight.
I got like Igor and Yuri, Nikolai. There's a couple, but that's first names.
Yeah, even then, I was like, "There's 9 of them."
Just to let everybody know, yes, again, Dyatlov Pass is what we're covering today. 9 victims, 1 kind of survivor. He wasn't actually there when all this went down. He left early. We'll go into that in a little bit, but he lived until 2013.
Oh wow.
So we'll go into all that in just a second. But we've covered this before, and I feel like we've got some more information and some visuals to show you guys that I think would be really important to check out.
Yeah.
So if you remember the last time we talked about it, was kind of surface scratch, and I think we're going to get a little more in depth and a little more. At least what I found was just a little bit of debunking of some theories, which made me sad, but at the same time, it's like, that's good, so we can figure out what the truth is.
Yeah. Well, at least the truth that the Soviets wanted to give us.
Yeah, which is not really truth at all. So, oh well.
Sorry, I got my claw.
Oh, going with no law with the claw. Being lame, just a Diet Pepsi.
It's cool.
All right.
I haven't had one of these in a long time, so
they're good though. It's nice. I don't care if people make fun of me, like, oh, it's not a guy drink. I don't give a shit. It's delicious, bubbly, and it's alcohol. And I'll add a little vodka and taper it off or make it a little stronger, and it's great.
That's what I do. Not tonight, but that's what I normally do. Like those little ones, the little New Amsterdams that you get, the flavored ones. Dip the flavor vodka in the already flavor vodka. That's basically vodka, right?
Yeah, I think it's just a vodka soda, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, but I put the grapefruit on grapefruit, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, I like where your head's at. All right, enough vodka talk, which is important because it comes up in the story too. But do you want to start us off for this guy?
Sure. Okay, so we mentioned back in, what was it? Was it the end of September? Because we did all of October, we did horror movies. So we talked briefly about how there were 9 hikers that were going to hike this, they're going to trek this mountain, and they were going away a route that nobody had gone before. No man has ever gone before. Basically, they were going to do that because they were trying to get another level, like a notch in their belt, basically, of experience for this kind of, hiking and all that shit. So they were going on this expedition. It would have made them, more of experts at this point. They actually were all either had attended university or no, it was like a Polytech Institute. What was the name of it? I had it written down, but now all my notes are out of order. Oh yeah, it's Ural or Ural. I'm not sure how to properly pronounce it. Polytechnical Institute. And the leader of this expedition was led by, he was Igor Dyatlov, which that's why they call it Dyatlov Pass, because he was the leader of this group. They were all experienced hikers. They had done this kind of thing before, so it wasn't going to be anything really that crazy. It was probably going to be a little bit more difficult than they'd done it in the past, but they were, like I said, they were experienced.
Yeah, but the thing is too, is that besides one of them who was 38, which was Simon Zolotrovo.
Oh, so difficult.
he was 38, but the others were between 24 and 20. Like they were young people. Mm-hmm. So I can't speak like for sure, but they were probably in their prime. They were probably doing just fine.
Oh yeah. Yeah, good health. They were hikers, experienced. They climbed mountains and shit. Like you can't. That's not for the weak. That's not for people like me.
You can do it. Just not that area.
Could I though?
I believe in you.
I'd be crying for White Claws a mile in.
Well, like we're gonna get into later, they had vodka, right? That's a very important climbing tool.
Actually, funny enough, yeah, no, you're right. Because alcohol or certain alcohols keep you warm.
Helps you clean stuff. You can light it on fire.
Yeah.
It makes you forget you're in the wilderness, and it sucks.
It makes you forget you're freezing and starving. You just pass right out. Good to go.
Yeah, just
like was he a chef? The chef on the Titanic. He survived because he like drank a shit ton of whiskey, and his body was able to withstand the cold.
Oh,
so
shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, literally. Vodka gives you potato vitamins.
I 100% agree with you. It is basically a liquid salad. You know, it's like juicing, really.
Juicing. Yeah. So one of the hikers had to leave early because he had some existing health conditions, but you know, they were kind of getting worse whenever he started to go on this trip. So that guy, his health conditions actually saved his life. So there would have been 10 deaths, but there were only 9. So there's that. I'm trying to think of any more details about these guys before we get into everything.
There is one little one I want to point out, and now that I'm looking over here, it kind of goes into one of the theories, and now I lost the names of the 2 individuals. But if you go into some of the conspiracy theories, there were traces of radiation on pieces of clothing that they found. It was 3 distinct pieces of clothing that had the most radiation, but the clothed pieces belonged to 2 individuals, 2 of the men. I want to say it was Yuri Doroshenko and Alexander, but I could be wrong on that, guys. But 2 of the men worked in facilities that worked on plutonium and on nuclear weapons. So it wouldn't be completely crazy to think maybe some of their clothes were from work, or they just kind of, intermingled, and traces of radiation could have been carried over to the events that happened.
Right.
That's not saying that's for sure or anything, but that could be an explanation for at least one of the conspiracy theories, or the theories in general, because the statement that the government gave back in the day was where did it go? They were they could not overcome a spontaneous power of nature. That's the explanation given back in the day.
Yeah.
Which is not helpful whatsoever.
Right.
Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah. Well, there is a theory that they all died because they were swept away by an avalanche. Because some of the weird details that kind of points to an avalanche is that 4 of them were found buried under like 10 feet of snow, which that screams avalanche. And then another thing is that if they were in a hurry trying to run from an avalanche, they could have cut from the inside of their tent to get out. And they all had barely any clothes on at this point. They had to flee very quickly. So that is another reason that people think it's, it was an avalanche or something, that force of nature, basically, you're talking about, which is still kind of, the 4, it could have been like the 4 of them, like the 4 people that were buried under the snow. There could have been like a slight avalanche. But how do you explain the other people that were not buried? Does that happen regularly? Do we know? Like,
yeah, this is totally like, it's pretty much been disproven as far as like the movie I'm gonna mention here, but it's called Faces of Death, and it basically is a documentary of different ways people die. And one of them, they showed a pass that was just destroyed by an avalanche, and they have to dig everybody out. None of them are sitting on top of it, like, oh, I'm so lucky. No, it's completely it washes you away like a tidal wave.
It's literally frozen water.
Yes.
So it washes you away like frozen water, or water would, I would assume. It's like rocks made of water.
Which is the worst thing. If you ever get caught in like a really bad hailstorm,
oh my God,
everything. It's crazy.
Like a little noggin.
I thought we had it bad here in town. I saw one where they were literally like just a little bit smaller than baseballs, maybe a little smaller than my fist.
That's still pretty big.
Yeah, the glass was just shattering everywhere. Like,
Oh my
it
God.
was. I don't know how you live in there. I don't get it.
Richard says he's pretty sure he ran into some radiation on Halloween.
He brought the radiation to the Big Easy. All right. Hope you had a good time over there, brother.
Yeah, you'll have to when we get Andrea back on. You'll have to chime in. We'll hear your experience because they were there. You guys were there about the same time.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, you and Andrea were in New Orleans.
You guys went without us. Can't believe it.
I know, bummer.
Yeah,
I want some voodoo stuff.
For realsies, jerseys. But anyway, all right. I think you get some good deals on cars after a hailstorm. Yeah, like it's half off because it's destroyed. Fuck.
Hopefully, you guys have good insurance.
Oh boy, yeah, serious. All right, so I have a quick picture to show of the 9 in question, so we can just get a face to some of them. Let me pull that up real quick. Like, there we go. So they're the 2 females, the 7 men. Again, they're all very young. They're all, I believe, every single one of them was university students, except for the 38-year-old. I think he was like just along to help out.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Some of them were alumni of the institute, and some of them were still students. Very, very unfortunate, very sad.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, they were so friggin' young. I mean, one of them was 20 years old. They had so much more to do, and they were hardworking kids. I mean, they were going to school. I know it technically, like, it sounds weird, but that was like a vacation for them. Like, this is them taking a break from everything. This is like a recreation sport for them. So they were just out there having a good time. It's just, it would be nice to know exactly what happened. What seemed like just some innocent people trying to have a good time.
Right.
And then real quick, Gary says the chef lived in the Titanic. I was at the chef because he didn't help out a woman.
He was mad at the chef because he didn't help the woman. Okay. I'm just talking about in real life. I'm not talking about the movie.
I don't remember that in the movie. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't either. That movie was like 3 hours long.
I watched it 4 times in the theater though. Oh my God.
No way.
My sister and my mom loved it. And like they snuck in one time. And I was there and I was like, it's like not even a quarter of the way over, guys. We're really gonna watch the whole thing. And we did. And oh my God. Yeah, I spent like half a day watching Titanic in the theaters, just tore out of my mind. Not a bad movie, don't get me wrong. It was a good movie, just I was a kid. I don't care about that.
Yeah. Oh my God. I know we're going off topic, but real quick, I wanted to say, I remember when it came out on VHS, I had to like, one VHS would end and then you'd have to like pop in the other one and make sure they're both rewound. Like,
we're so old. Oh my God.
Oh my God. I'm going to be 33 next week.
That's not that old still. I mean, that turning 30, because you, Andrea, and Brie all turned 33 like at the same time, basically. That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm the last one. The baby.
No. I get to turn 33 in 6 months. I'm very excited.
Nice.
Now, Titanic 2 was better, Greg. You were absolutely right. Good old VHS days. Yeah, honestly, I missed all my VHSs. I'm going to find them. I'm going to watch them still. I don't care. Care if I have to rewind. All right. But back to topic. Let me see if I can find this other one I wanted to show next. So do you want to go over the map real quick before we go into other details?
I just wanted to point out, like, this was where they were supposed to be traveling to. So
pull that up real quick, like Chrome tabs. There we go. Share. Oh, it's buffering.
Richard,
if I freeze, let me know, okay? Because it's buffering now for some reason.
Okay, cool. Richard, I didn't even know you were in your 40s. Like, you look so young.
Yeah, honestly, like, look barely 30, man.
Like, are you sure you're a white dude? Like white people age like garbage unless they're rich.
Shoot. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, because now my Chrome saying it's not responding. And I don't know how I'm still going. Oh,
Okay.
I might have to back out and back in, but you should still be on screen. So I will fix this situation.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So there's a map that I found. I don't know if I can find it. I don't know how I'm going to be able to send it. But anyway, it showed where they found the bodies and like where they were supposed to go up the mountain. It didn't really look that far to me, but I don't know. I'm not a hiker, so I don't know if it's really far. I guess the terrain was going to be a little bit more difficult because, again, like I said earlier, they were trying to get their next level on their hikers business. What is the? I don't even remember what that was called. There's like some sort of, there's a name for it. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm bad at this. The government looked for them for a few days, or actually, was it a couple? No. Okay. Well, so back up. Yuri went home. He was one of the one. There was two Yuris. One of the Yuris was the one that left because he got sick.
Yeah.
And he waited at home for like 2 weeks to get this telegram from them because they were supposed to have reached their destination by then. And no one could find them. No one had heard from them. So they decided like, hey, we need to send somebody out to look for these guys because we haven't heard from them. So the government looked for them, and then that's when they find the tent. And at first, okay, see, here we go. I don't know if we can zoom in, but
did it work better that time now?
Yeah, I could see it. So there are the little, hold on, I got to open my screen up. Come on, where are you, friend? I'm trying to open my screen, like widen it. It's not letting me because my eyes suck. Okay, so those little red dots are where they found the bodies. And then back there, their tent. And then this tree is important because they find pieces of flesh up in the tree.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. And I don't know if you want to start to get into all of these injuries and what they found and how they found them. Well, I did mention that they found 4 bodies under the 10 feet of snow. Okay. 2 bodies were found near the tree right there. 2 bodies were found near the tree by like an old fire. There were large burns on their bodies and obviously a lot of blood. And one of them had flesh in his mouth, like human flesh in his mouth.
That was both Yuri's were the closest to the tree.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Did I get the wrong name for the other guy? Oh, well. Anyway, Yuri's a really popular name.
It's true. It's true.
Gore, actually, too. All right. So all of the bodies that they have found in total had like scrapes and bruises and all kinds of like lacerations and stuff. They think that number 1 had fallen from the tree because his chest was crushed. Okay, cool. It shows the names here. I didn't look at it that closely. Yeah, so they found the names and the bodies that go with the name. Okay, so the cedar tree was broke. Oh, interesting. Okay, so in the second one, there was a bite taken off his hand. And it looked like he had been moved after he died, and some of the clothing was missing. And so some of them were wearing each other's clothing. They did mention that in the report. Another one's face and face up with the fists clenched like this. And they showed signs maybe there was a struggle. We're not sure. A week later, they found another body face down with a head injury. The 6th body was draped over a ledge. The lips were gone. The ribs were broken. He had no eyes, no tongue, and the heart was bleeding. The seventh body was wearing 3 pairs of pants, multiple layers of like shirts and stuff. They had broken ribs, a gash on the back of the head, and his eyes were gone. The 8th body had a snapped neck and a broken nose. And the 9th body was somewhat prepared, but they had a cracked skull. So it looked like they died of a head injury. So,
yeah, I think that was, where is it? That was Nikolai Trioboxy, Three Books Brigonolis. It's that guy, Nikolai. All right, Nikolai. We'll stick with that.
Oh, Thibault.
Thibault. Okay, Thibault. Yeah.
The way the Beaux is pronounced Beau, which is weird. I don't get that. I think it's French.
Weird. That's definitely weird.
Oui. Let's see. I don't know where all of the injuries are on all of the people. So those are just the injuries that we got in total. And I don't know. People think that the clothing that was found with the radiation was caused by some sort of like government thing, which you mentioned that they worked with the government, I assume, in a lab or factory or some sort of thing where they handled like not bio stuff. What would you call that?
It was one of them was in a factory that built plutonium for nuclear weapons.
Right.
And the other one was working at another, it just said nuclear or radioactive site, basically. So I'm guessing that was a power plant kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, yeah, they were technically it was caused by the government still, either way.
Yeah.
So
which is true. Some people were speculating that the government had been testing bombs and that these poor people were just part of the aftermath of that.
Rough.
And the government lied and said, "Oh no, we wouldn't be testing bombs. You know, we're not gonna. We wouldn't do that." Or they later said that, "Oh, we might have been," but so like that's still. But then later on in 2019, I think, right? They said it was an avalanche, like an avalanche.
Yeah, I actually want to touch on the 2019 because there was gosh dang, I gotta find. There's an article that I wanted to open up here. Okay, yeah, CNN had an article in 2019 that said that they reopened the case, and I'm gonna share that real quick.
Yes.
Because this guy right here in particular. Oh no, find the picture, Miguel. I know I got it. This is 100% real. Like they wanted to know more about it, and this gentleman right there. This is actual. Right there, you see the journalists all around him.
Yeah,
as he signs in to reopen the case for the Dyatlov Pass. That he is representative for the I think it said the prosecution department.
Interesting. So they're wanting to frame somebody for this at this point.
Alexander is his name. A representative for Russia's prosecution general. So I don't know if that means they're trying to blame someone exactly, or if it's just the guy who has to do the work, basically. Like his whole job is just do the grunt work and get the papers like sorted through. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's more than that. That's just like a ceremonial kind of thing, showing that. What is that? 2 years ago now? Yeah, about 2 years ago they reopened the case.
Oh my God, it's gonna be 3 soon. 3 years.
Seriously, yeah.
Oh man. Well, some of these speculations were that there were aliens who had actually done that to these people. Oh, there's me.
Okay. Yeah, I want to put this picture up for the alien talk. Not you, but that's a good picture too. But okay. The alien picture, because this comes from their camera too, right here.
Yes. So witnesses that were supposedly witnesses in nearby towns, like nearby areas of this trail, were saying that they had seen bright lights and like lights in like a single file line. Or no, these victims were walking in a single file line. Nobody saw them do that. But supposedly they were walking in a single file line, and the photographers, or not the photographers, I'm sorry, the hikers were taking photographs like this one of lights that they were seeing. So this is actually, I'm glad you brought this picture up, because that is what they were saying that they were taking pictures of. They were taking pictures of lights that were going off around this area. And if no Russian had done this hike this way before, of course, the government would be like, yeah, we're going to use this area to do our testing, and we're, all of our whatever it is that they were doing. Some people were saying that they were burns from a heat ray that the aliens were shooting at them.
I could see that. I would shoot some heat rays at these people.
Because there was one, like we said, with burns on him.
Yeah, see, the only thing here is that this picture is just so terrible.
Yeah.
But I know they were drinking a bit, that can impair your judgment on what you're doing. But like, I don't think they'd be snapping pictures at things that don't matter, So
right. Obviously, if they were taking pictures of lights, then it must have been something out of the ordinary, because you don't just take pictures of like, oh, that's cool, unless
especially back then, it's not digital, it's like you have a limited amount.
Yeah, unless you're going to see like the Northern Lights or like a fireworks show at Disneyland. Like True, that doesn't make sense to take pictures of just lights. That's you. Okay, sorry. I forgot to turn my volume down.
Oh yeah, no. There's another picture because Gary brings in the Wendigo. Since one of them was found with a mouthful, there's actually an equivalent to the Wendigo, which is the Leshy in Russian folklore, meaning of the forest or from the forest or something, and kind of a similar story about an evil man who gets turned into this monster for doing bad deeds. But he's forced to take care of nature, I think, something like that. I don't know too much about it, but it's supposed to be like very similar in background for two continents and oceans away from each other civilizations.
Yeah, the Native Americans have, that, and like all the skinwalker stuff. Like, see, we're going to have to do an episode where we talk about all of the things around the world that all match. That doesn't make sense for it to have something all the way over there and then also have the same thing all the way over here. So yeah. We'll talk about that. That's interesting. Some people were saying the Yeti, which is kind of similar to this.
Yeah.
Like the Yeti just came and fucked them all up.
Which I'm totally fine with that. Get out of the Yeti's house, stand your ground kind of thing.
Get off my property. They're walking on his lawn.
Yeah, so you eat those people or just murder them, I guess. Whatever you got to do.
Murder. Well, I mean, obviously it ate the eyes and the nose.
And that's another thing, yeah, because one of the girls, I cannot remember which name. I don't know if they brought it up in the thing I was watching, but either Ludmila or Zenadaya, her tongue was missing like completely. And the guy kind of glanced over it like, it's not that big a deal. Her tongue was missing. Like, that sounds like a pretty fucking big deal.
Like a whole tongue?
Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? Just because the autopsies like kind of just put it down like tongue missing, eyes missing, and they didn't go into much more detail. Like, what else do you want them to say? Oh, tongue missing, definitely alien, definitely Sasquatch. No, they don't know what it was. So what else do you want them to put?
Well, what I don't get is, did they search the area for like possible animals, like any type of animals? Like, because if they were out there for a while and there's scavengers running around, wouldn't they notice anything like that? Wouldn't there be some sort of footprints? Like, even after the avalanche, if their eyes were missing after the avalanche, then obviously they're not buried, so they can get to them. Like, it's so weird. So these just weird coincidences that are, I don't know. Some people are saying that the Americans did it. Because it happened in 1959. Yeah. So it was, the Cold War. America was terrified of communism and all this. Well, I'm not for communism. America was so paranoid about the Russians and the Cubans and all that shit. So
first thing we do is attack their college students while they're camping. That's the number one goal. I think that conspiracy theory is as crazy as the Roswell one, being Russia sending over surgically modified mentally challenged kids in spacecrafts, and that's the aliens we found. That's what someone's theory is.
Wow.
Not even a joke.
Really offensive.
That one gets my mind. Like, wait, what? Huh? You fucking sending over kids all messed up on because it was all prosthetic. Like they said, they made them look deformed human beings that would be so unrecognizable that they would have to be from space.
Oh my god, so that's fucking awful. Like, what? That's so
I'm sorry, that's totally off topic. But
I know. It's just back then, people with disabilities were not treated well.
No, God, no.
Still not really, but
people who read too many books weren't treated well. So
people with vaginas were not treated well, and still are not. So
I said those are the ones who are reading too many books. That was a general reason you could go to a mental help facility.
Mental help?
Yeah, mental quote unquote help. Yeah, because she would be delirious or too much reading, become an obsession, I guess. Like, wait, what? That's a good one to have. Like, it's okay to read a lot. Gary, I love that movie, by the way. The Thing, even the remake, which isn't my favorite, but I still thought it was really good. The Thing is an awesome movie. Original, obviously my favorite, but the other one's good too. Friggin', I gotta rewatch that now. But
yeah.
One more picture right here. I think one more. I have two more. Sorry, one more right here, which is basically one of the last photos they took of themselves on the trip, which is you can see right here. I mean, we can't tell. We can't really give any depiction if there's an avalanche coming in the area, but for the most part, they all look like they're working together to make this happen.
Yeah,
they don't look sick. They don't. There's no signs of struggling. It's just literally has time to take a picture of them doing their thing. So obviously he had a moment of not rest, but at least a chance to set down what he was doing so he could get a picture of it.
Yeah.
So there was definitely like no panic in them before the night of,
right,
before the time, or else we would probably not see pictures this close to when it happens.
Right. Also, another thing, I had mentioned that some they had been walking in a single file line, but that's just, I don't know why that people were like freaking out about that. It's like you have to do that in these situations so that you can see who's in front of you and you can see who's behind you. These single file lines protect people.
Yeah, it's because there's no visibility,
Yeah. So I don't know why people were saying that that's strange of them to do. It's like, it's actually really not. So there's so many things about this incident that it's just crazy to me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If clothes were taken, like if it really was an avalanche, it makes sense to me that they would try to take the clothes off of the bodies and warm themselves best they can. But how come there was only one who was wearing like all this clothing, who was like prepared, basically? Why only one guy?
Right, yeah. We
don't know. Some people were speculating maybe he just went out to go take a piss.
And just I'm bundling up before all this happens. Fuck that.
Right. And inside the tent, there was a perfectly preserved meal that they were about to eat. Like they were sitting down to eat, and then they had to rip themselves out of their tent. Which, another thing about that is there was a seamstress at the what's it called? Whenever they take all the items to be like kind of examined and try to determine what happened with all their
like the forensics of it.
Yeah. Basically like a forensics place. There was randomly a seamstress who was there who was like, oh, they cut it from the inside, not the outside. There was a seamstress who had to tell them. It's like, what? How would she be there and just know?
We call it. And to kind of discredit the avalanche, these are the tents afterwards. This is what they found. That not very much snow on that one area versus where they were found at, which wasn't super close, but it wasn't super far away either.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And the other bodies too were not buried.
I don't think it was avalanche.
Maybe I just don't know what an avalanche is.
But to your point though about the walking in straight lines, there's really good reason for that. Here's a little like a 1 minute clip of conditions that would be something that they would have faced, which are, I'm going to skip a little bit too, so like maybe a couple seconds shorter.
Okay.
So this lady lives in Antarctica. All right. So little heads up on what's about to happen. She's just going to show what it's like when the wind chill is so high, and it's called a condition 1 weather.
100 below. Holy
100
shit.
fucking below, which is crazy. They were at 30 below, so it's obviously not as crazy, but that's still fucking 30 below. That's insane to me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So here's what it looks like in the area just leading into going outside, not even outside yet. And then that's the highest quality it goes. Okay, so I'm going to try. Hopefully you guys can see what's going on here.
Check this out.
The room is frozen.
This is the
Oh my God.
entryway to our dorm. Normally this has carpet on the ground and the walls are just normally walls, you know. But we're going to open the door right now. It's a little bit like opening up the door to another world. Are you ready?
Oh my God.
It's a little bit blowy out there right now.
That's like, holy shit. That would happen if like a part of a plane opened up. Like if on the side of a plane, like if it opened up, it would probably be like the wind chill like that.
Yeah. But yeah, try walking like not behind each other. You have to stay in a line so you hold on to the person in front of you.
Yeah.
At least, like see them just like that close to them. So you have to go in a line.
Yeah.
And then I'm bring up your map you sent real quick. So yeah, Gary, they were all spread out when they found them, or at least a decent amount spread out.
It looks like a line, but there's still like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense that they were all supposedly over here, like in the tent. They're hanging out in the tent, and then they all end up over here. Like these people ended up in the creek, basically.
Yeah, it blows my mind. Like, not the inconsistencies, but just how much information we gotta find out. Like, there's gotta be more to it. And yeah, Richard, they found I don't think it wasn't a going river. It wasn't flowing. It was frozen over.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be no different than like a creek bed at that point.
Yeah.
Like if you go to a dry creek bed, you could just walk through it and like climb over. For them, it would be the same situation. Just everything's covered in ice already. So why not, walk through it and just get away?
Yeah.
I'm kind of concerned with number 3 right there. Is it Xena? Yeah, Xena, who's the closest to the tent still. Because some of them said that they were trying to make their way back, it looked like, and they died before they got there. Which
doesn't make sense if they weren't that far away.
No, not that far at all. In fact, let's see if I can see on here if there's. Okay, so I'm not seeing. Okay, intended route, actual route. Okay, so there's no like. Okay, yeah, there's 1,500 meters to tree line, and they were spread out even further from the creek. So that kind of helps like determine just how far apart they were.
Mm-hmm.
But that's still not that far apart. I don't feel like it's that far apart. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. And if an avalanche was coming, where would it be coming from is what I'd like to know. Like what is their, how do I ask this? Like where's the angle that they're sitting at? Like I saw in a picture that you showed a second ago, it was like flat. Where are the mountains that the avalanche would come from?
Yeah, truly. Like I guess it could be further out, like far away and like sweep across it because apparently they go pretty far.
Yeah. I don't know.
Truly don't understand it.
Mm-mm.
Now, another thing that they could talk about is when you go into those kind of areas, there's a phenomenon where the wind can get to a certain like pitch and a certain noise frequency that messes with your head and causes you to kind of go a little crazy.
Oh, like there's a sound only dogs can hear.
Basically, yeah. And this one just kind of messes with human their heads. Our heads. I'm human. I am.
Are you sure?
I'm probably 90%. 90.
I don't think Zuckerberg is.
No, that guy's he's a lizard person for sure. Lizard 100%. But
we're gonna have to talk about Meta too in a minute.
Oh my god, yeah. I need more information before we get on that one. But so there's the wind, cold hypothermia leads to paradoxical undressing where you think you're overheating, so you strip off your clothes, which could explain why some of them are basically nude at that point.
Right. Because four of them, how many of them? Excuse me. Some of them died of supposedly hypothermia.
It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of them died of hypothermia. 6. And I think the final, the original numbers, they said that all of them died of hypothermia with injuries as well. So they're just kind of glossing over them like, oh, they all had COVID, but they got shot in the head. So it's COVID still.
That's what that sounds like.
Oh, 100%, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another thing that people don't know about when the snow, when it's really bright outside, because they were in January, and I mean, sometimes it was clear out there, but still snowy. When the sun hits the snow, it bounces the light up. And if you're not protecting your eyes, you can go blind. And that's another way, not just the blindness, but it's another way that the natural elements are messing with your head. And people are known to go crazy from that as well. Literally losing your sight if you're out there too long. I'm sure they had some eye covers, like just goggles to keep the snow and the wind out of it. But if they weren't protecting themselves from that bounce up and all that building into that night, you know, whether it was the wind or that or just a cold, and then they drank on top of that, it could have just all added up to a horrible storm of wrong decisions.
Right.
Because I don't think I got a picture of it, and none of them I have show it. But they had a small furnace stove inside of their tent that they turned off at night, but they said that it reignited in the night when they weren't awake, and that smoke went in there. It was just another theory basically, and then that forced them out of it. But I there's no like real proof behind that either, I don't think.
Yeah.
So it's just another theory.
I mean, it could, because one of them had burns, right?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Don't know.
There's just a lot of gaps in the stories.
And they're all dead, so of course there's nobody that can vouch for any story.
Except for the government agents that were there doing it to them. Boom.
And the government was so hush-hush about it for a while. The area was closed off for 3 years.
That's suspect right there. That's real suspect.
3 years? Really? They didn't let anybody go up there for 3 years. So, I don't know. I mean, it could have been government. It could have been aliens.
I say it was Yeti aliens. Yaliens.
Yaliens.
Yeah. So I'm going to put that in the comment. Hashtag Yaliens.
That's the best.
So if you ever see a Yeti alien coming after you, you're probably going to get hurt. You know, it's going to happen. Gary. They could have stayed in the tents huddled together. They have a chance to survive from the avalanche cover-up. That's actually true, too.
Yeah.
There's an
Why
old
didn't
story.
they just all huddle together naked?
Did you stay warm? Yeah.
Naked.
I would have
That's
done
weird.
it. Yeah. But there's a it's much different situation, but there was like a goat farmer boy who was like 12, and he basically got caught in a storm.
Oh no.
And snowed over this giant hay bales that he was next to, but he jumps in the hay bale with his goat, and they survive in there for like 3 days.
Oh.
Basically in a container of snow. Now, if you know about hay, it's going to keep you warm in the inside, huddle with the goat, keep warm together. But still, they survive for 3 days under snow.
Crazy.
So it's possible. It's very possible.
Yeah. And you know what's scary is like if the snow kind of melted and then froze up again, like that would be scary because then it would like harden over all the stuff. You'd have to like.
Actually, that's actually how. That's what they want igloos to do, though. Like when they like when Eskimos build igloos and they put a fire inside, the whole structure holds together because the inside's melting a little bit and the outside's refreezing, so it makes it stronger. So that little bit of melting is okay. Another side tangent. I'm sorry, but there was what was the guy? Bear Grylls.
We're almost out of here.
Yeah. One of those survivor dudes basically went at the worst time you could do to survive in the Arctic, and they told him afterwards, like, yeah, you went at a time where our igloos don't work because it's not cold enough where that works, but it's not hot enough to survive, but it's not cold enough that structure is going to keep you alive. So you could have easily died out here because there's no animals coming out yet. So there's no food. There's no shelter to be built unless you are very lucky and find something to use. So he's like, so I went there at the hardest time and almost failed. So that's smart.
Also, they're not called Eskimos.
Inuit?
Yes. Apparently, Eskimo is a very offensive term, so I've stopped using it.
What do you call it?
I'm trying to be more sensitive to people and their fucking. Because
tell me this: if I'm supposed to say Native American, why is it called the American Indian Association that makes all the decisions?
Because white people gave them that title.
No, it's their own board of people. Like it's their own. What do you call it?
Well, they can call each other that, and we can't. It's just like the N-word. They're allowed to say it. We can't. I'm not subscribing to this at all. What do you call it? If I'm gonna gamble and lose hundreds of dollars in their casino, I'm gonna call them whatever I want. Oh my god.
Anyway, all right, we're gonna leave on that note before I get myself in trouble. So my theory, I'm gonna go with the aliens. I say it was something. Yeah, I'm going with something left field and just. I don't
know. I really think it was the government. The government probably blew them up on accident, or sent their lasers, and they were testing out some shit and it didn't work, and they accidentally hurt some people, and yeah.
It's very possible. Very possible.
The fact that they opened up the case again, that sent some red flags.
There's had to have been more to it, and they're just not going into it.
Yeah.
Yep. What do you guys think?
Governments have been known to lie to people
all the time. Ours does it every day. Every day. Hey, you guys tell us what you think in the comments.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think it was. What are your speculations and assumptions and nonsense? Because that's basically what this is. We don't fucking know.
It's true. Yeah, that's true. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it for this time. I hope you know a little more about the Dyatlov Pass.
Dyatlov
Pass. You hear more about it. Have a good night. Yeah, Richard, there's a couple of videos on YouTube that'll just go like step by step with the facts.
Yeah, they can explain everything better than I can. Once I get a White Claw, I'm like, I remember details, and then I mix them all up, and then it's your job to figure it out.
You put them together, yeah.
You guys put it together. I just give you the info. I didn't say I was going to give it to you in order.
No, we never agreed to that. Yeah, come on. All right, y'all. You have a good night. We'll see you next Thursday.
Bye, guys.